Welcome to Modern Day Abigails, a women's outreach of Calvary Chapel, Pearland. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new." So let's listen to God's Word, where everyday lives transform and where we can become the women God created us to be.
Things start falling into place, and you get his protection, you get his help, you get his understanding. He starts taking care of things for you that he'd been wanting to take care of, but you wouldn't let him, So running to him is the easy part. Running away, ladies, flip it around and just run straight to him.
Yeah, you're thinking, how do I know if I'm running away? If you're always tired, if you're always exhausted, if it's never working out, and you're just ready to give up, you're running away.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I didn't know if I was missing something there.
No, chicken.
That wasn't part of my notes, so I was like, I'm not sure how to exactly answer that. But
probably
I thought about
more
it.
that goes with that. But
Totally is.
That's an extra insert we weren't thinking about.
But I started thinking about that. I'm running away. I'm like, well, how do I know I ran away and I was tired and I was exhausted and I was just done.
A lot of chaos, a lot of turmoil, a lot of confusion, a lot of unpeace. Addiction. If you're wanting to numb your pain through whatever form that you're going to use, that's running away.
Yeah,
that's running away,
and you're going to get tired.
Yeah,
and at some point you have to stop running, and that's what we did. We both, in some point of our life, decided I'm going to stop running. I'm going to go straight to the Lord.
Yeah,
and get help. And that's what here I want to read Psalm 121. I know I've got a couple Psalms here that are a little lengthy, but I think it really helps shows what the Lord's trying to tell us. And this psalm is titled, God, the help of those who seek him. And it's from a song of ascents. I will lift up my eyes to the hills. From whence comes my help? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not allow your foot to be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. And that's the part I was telling you about earlier, about how part of this is about his love for Israel. He's going to keep Israel. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve you from all evil. He shall preserve your soul. The Lord shall preserve your going out and your coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. It's talking about his shade. And that's what we're reading Song of Solomon is talking about, the shade that was great delight. Jesus is our shade. And then Psalm 1 through 3, the way of the righteous and the end of the ungodly. But we're going to read the part about the way of the righteous. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits with the seats of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth its fruit in the season, whose leaves shall not wither, and whatever he does shall prosper. All right, so this is what we're talking. I mean, from that little sentence that we get in Songs of Solomon, this is what we're seeing that the Lord's trying to tell us. That I'm going to give you fruit. I'm going to give you shade. It's going to be great if you'll just follow after me and do what I ask. So and then you're like, okay, what about this fruit that we should have evidence? Because here's in John 15:5, it says, I am the vine. You are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit. For without me, you can do nothing. So when we're in Jesus and Jesus in us, we can bear the fruit. We can't bear it alone. We can't have that fruit. And what is that fruit? That's in Galatians 5:22-23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. That is the fruit that people should be seeing in us when we have Jesus, because we are resting on him in his shade and his protection.
I have an off-the-wall example.
Okay.
Is it a good time to throw it in?
Go.
It's kind of like you're the parent. You've got a child. You've got all of these rules to protect your child, but you've got this child who will not follow your rules. They spend all of their life up until a certain point fighting against you, not listening, constant consequences. And you're having to constantly fight with this child who is absolutely disobedient. And how stressful is that, one, for the parent, and two, for the child who's fighting constantly against their parents. At some point, that child, you hope, flips around and starts listening. We are the unruly child.
Right. And then when we get tired and we finally say, okay, I'm done.
And the parents never walk away from the child. They're always trying to help and
be there,
deal with and learn and, consequences or what's going to work for this child. And the parents they don't walk away. They don't throw the kid out on the street at 5 years old.
Right.
And, they just, but we're the unruly child. At some point in our life, we have to flip it around and we have to go back to the Lord or go to the Lord.
Exactly. And then that's where we went back through the fruit. If your child says, I'm saved, and you don't see any fruit, one, there needs to be some more discipleship, or two, you have to start questioning. And I mean, Stevie had said something about getting saved when he was younger, but then he didn't want to get baptized, and I always wondered. So the Lord, that's my son. He had me keep praying. And then later on, I was like, no, I need to pray for his salvation. Something's not right. And he did. I think he was 15 years old and he was running our track meet, and during his race, the Lord called, and he came to me right afterwards and got in the vehicle and he goes, Mom, I just got saved and I need to get baptized. Like, what? And he sure did, man. That Sunday, he was like down at the bottom saying, I need to get baptized. Ray looked at me. I looked at him, and I'm like, I didn't say anything because I really just didn't know what was going to happen. I just want to make sure I wasn't wrong. So, I mean, he started confessing and telling me different things, and it was beautiful. But that fruit is what I noticed, that something wasn't right. And that fruit is it's supposed to show us, it's kind of our guide to see, where am I in my life? If I'm missing any of that fruit? I mean, the Lord's been really teaching me about, when you pray to have, the fruit, he's been really teaching me about self-control. And what I've learned is through self-control, I have learned long-suffering, and I have learned joy and peace through it. I've gotten a lot more patient as I learned self-control. And how do I learn it? Because he made me switch my diet. And I've been on this diet journey for the last 7 years. You've been with me on it.
For most of it, not this last one. I don't like your last one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't like it either, but it's, I don't have a choice.
I haven't been able to bring myself to join you, not truly join you on it.
Yeah. Well, it's not a fun one, but it's, hopefully in a couple months, I'll see that the blood work is saying that it's working.
Yeah.
Because,
praying for that because
I don't want the alternative.
No,
I'm not dying or anything. It's just, I have a thyroid issue and we're trying to solve it with food because I don't want medicine. I don't want to be dependent on pharmaceutical.
And you don't want them to remove your thyroid.
Yeah, I want to keep my thyroid. I fought for my wisdom teeth. I fought for my wisdom teeth. I ain't going to fight for my thyroid. We are not removing anything out of this body. It all stays. The only one who ever got removed was Stevie. Somebody wrote that, actually. They said, C-section, that's not a birth date. That's a release date.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Yeah, so the only one I want to remove out of this body was my son. Everything else needs to stay. I remember my dentist. I'm like, I'm keeping that wisdom tooth. He's like, we need to get removed. I said, no, I want my wisdom teeth. It's like, well, you have enough room for it. If you'll just keep it brushed real good and make sure you use some salt water on there, I'll let you keep it.
Oh my gosh. Mine were literally sideways. They had to come out. They were causing wreaking havoc.
I only have 3 wisdom teeth. 2 have come in. I've got 1 more. I'm hoping it never shows up. As long as it doesn't show up, I should be fine. But if it tries to show up, I have a feeling I'll have to have it removed. And then I don't want a video camera because I don't know what I'll say under anesthesia. And anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back on our trail. We were talking about fruit. All right. So think about your fruit, ladies. I'm going to challenge you right now to, if you have to pause it, if you can, if you're in car, it might be a little harder, but whatever you're doing, pause it and really read Galatians 5:22-23 and say, Lord, what fruit am I not growing? Where am I lacking? Because it's not like we get a choice. We can't say, hey, Lord, I'd like to pick love and joy and, faithfulness would be nice. No, it's a whole kit and caboodle package. Kit and caboodle means I don't even know where that word came from. So if you're a foreign listener, kit and caboodle means everything, the complete package, the whole thing. So your fruit of the Spirit is all of it: love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. It's all together. Long-suffering is not patience. Okay? Patience is waiting in line for a donut. Long-suffering is going to put the ingredients, go out to the field to grab all the ingredients, and then mixing the ingredients and baking the ingredients and then getting your donut. Okay. There's a big difference.
Nobody likes long suffering.
No, nobody likes it, but the Lord says that's a fruit. So,
but look, if for those who have been through a trauma journey with the Lord, we all can look at this list and see at the end of our journey, we will have experienced
Jesus,
every one of these, and now actually have these.
Yeah.
Before my journey with that I went on with my ex-husband, with the separation and the abandonment and all of that. Before that journey, I didn't have almost any of these. Now, because of that, because of what the Lord did and how he changed me and healed me inside and out, and my life now, I now have all of these.
Yeah.
You have all of these.
Yeah. Gentleness. I knew I wasn't gentle a long time ago. I even asked somebody, I'm like, hey, what happened about that? What happened with me with that gentle, quiet spirit? And
I didn't have it either.
Then the guy he was a Christian. He goes, yeah, nobody knows Anna with you. But, but he was right. I was a fighter back then. I was a very angry fighter, and it didn't take much to get me going.
Yeah, me too. I was a mess. But, that old Joanna and Anna do not exist any longer.
No. Now, if you mess with somebody, it will come out. If you mess with somebody I'm around, it will come out.
Oh, that's a mama bear. That's different.
Mama bear, yeah. But that non-gentleness will come out then at that time.
Yeah. So, our journeys, I call them journeys.
Yeah, they are.
They produce these.
Yes. But and everybody has a journey, and you may not like your journey. Like when we talked about Hannah and Peninnah,
you may not realize you're on a journey.
Yeah, you may not realize you're on a journey. But if you've been listening, if you go back and listen to Hannah and Peninnah were on journeys that they did not like. They didn't want to be there. They didn't like it. Neither one of them. But they handled it very different. And it's the way you handle your journey that makes all the difference. Sometimes the way you handle your journey makes it a shorter journey than if you don't handle it correctly.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah. So think about your journey. Ask the Lord if you are on one and what changes you need to make in your life. You'll think us one day. You may not think us right away, but you will think us one day because the enemy's going to attack. The enemy's going to be right there. The last thing he wants is somebody changing. The last thing he wants is you to bear fruit. He wants to cut your fruit off as soon as it starts growing.
Well, he doesn't want you closer to the Lord. If you get closer to the Lord,
you get further away from him.
Yeah, and that means you help other people also get closer to the Lord.
I don't know how to tell you this, ladies, but Satan wants a relationship with you too.
Ooh, he sure does.
He does. It's not the loving. He's here to kill, steal, and destroy. He wants a relationship with you so he can kill, steal, and destroy you.
Yeah, that's the chaos, the turmoil, the unrest, the peace, the suicide.
Yeah, suicidal thoughts. Yeah, that's the enemy.
The addiction.
Yeah. He wants you right there with him. Yeah. He wants
the hatred.
He wants you as far away from God as possible. So you have to build your relationship with Jesus to get away from the enemy. And then the Lord will keep you away from the enemy if you'll let him.
The fruit list, there's a flip side of that. And it's the unfruit list that the devil has, and it's even longer.
Yes. And we do that actually with the children's church. We actually have a fishing game where we have good fruit and bad fruit. And they have to fish, and if it's a good fruit, they keep it. If it's a bad fruit, they have to throw it back. So it's kind of like a memory game with it. But that's how we've been teaching them the fruits of the Spirit. You got to learn it. They can learn it as kids, get saved, and learn it as kids. They'll have a very productive adult life.
Yeah, it works both ways. Yeah. You just got to know what side of that you're on. Are you on the Lord's side or you're... There's only two sides.
Right.
The Lord's side or not the Lord's side.
You either belong to him or you don't.
That's right.
And if you belong to him, you're going to have these fruit. And if you don't have these fruit, you need to work on it.
Yeah.
He never said, I give you the fruit. If we go back and read, he doesn't give it to you. You have to work towards that fruit. And then he will make it grow because he's the branch.
Yeah.
Right. He's a branch, right? Did I say that right? He's a branch, I'm the vine.
Well, I'm
the vine, you're the branch. He's the vine. Yeah. We're the branch. So he's going to make it bear fruit if you will let him. But he's going to have to prune you. He's going to have to fertilize you. He's going to have to water you. But you're going to have to let him. And sometimes it don't feel good. It does hurt.
Probably most of the time.
Yeah. And it's okay to have that pain. Because when you get through that pain, you get to the fruit that you want.
Right.
All right. So... anything before we go to the next verse?
Nope.
All right. So Songs of Solomon, we're in chapter 2, starting at verse 4. The Shulamite to the daughters of Jerusalem. He brought me to the banqueting house, and his banner over me was love. Sustain me with cakes of raisins. Refresh me with apples, for I am lovesick. All right. So she's kind of daydreaming of here. The banquet is a daydreaming because she's not there yet, and she's looking to the future. So I'm going to go over a little bit briefly over a Jewish wedding. You may know a whole lot more about the Jewish wedding, but I'm going to give the brief version to keep it all nice and simple like. So it's usually the father who decides who the bride is going to be, and there is a bride price to pay. So God the Father chose the church as Jesus's bride. He also chose Israel, and that's why we can see this in a Jewish wedding. The bride price was Jesus dying for us. He paid it on the cross for us. He shed his blood. That was the price he was willing to pay. The groom then goes back to the Father's house to build a place. And I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, where it is. But Jesus did the same thing. When Jesus ascended to the Father and said, I'm preparing a place for you. And then when the time is right, when the Father thinks the groom is ready, the bridegroom is ready for his bride, he sends the groom out to go collect her. They call that the midnight cry. Yes, I have asked and tried to look, why midnight? That to me it sounds like a bad time to go, midnight. Nobody knows. But they call it the midnight cry. And the groom, when the father tells the bridegroom to go get his bride, that's when he goes. So that's the point where we are in our lives, is we're waiting for the Father to tell Jesus to come get us. And we believe he's going to come get us before the great tribulation. Not tribulation itself, because we're all going to have tribulation, but the great tribulation. The one that all the books and movies are written about. And it says, count yourself as worthy of escape. Yes, please, Lord, make me worthy of escape.
Yeah, I want to escape.
I want to escape this. You gave us the ability to. I'm taking you up on your offer.
Yeah, I've got my hand raised.
Exactly. So that's why we're going to really see this Jewish wedding picture. And that's where we're at the place of daydreaming. Because remember in the chapter 1, we talked about you have to before you're married, you have to consummate it. All right. So we're not there yet. She's just met him, but she's daydreaming of what's to come. It'd be like a bride daydreaming about being married to her husband and looking forward to it. And I remember having those dreams. And I remember praying. I always prayed to the Lord. I did not want to be one of those wives who did not have intimacy with their husband, or would tell him I have a headache, or not now. I didn't want to be that wife. So even before I even knew I was going to marry Ray, I had started praying ahead of time, Lord, I don't want to be that wife. I want to enjoy my husband. So help me. Whatever you need to do, let's do this. So that's like her. She's daydreaming now. What's it going to be like to be with this husband of mine? You got any single thoughtness? As y'all know, Drina still is single. I got married.
Yeah.
So we have two different points of views here.
I am definitely single.
Yes. Sorry. But what makes
I'm
this
fine
book,
with it.
Yeah. What makes this book special is you get to both points of view, single and married.
Now, you and I have talked about before, like I have no idea what an actual
Healthy,
real marriage would be for myself. I see it in my friends,
right?
My Christian friends, and it's awesome. It's amazing, but I myself have not experienced that or actual true love or true intimacy with a husband. I don't have that. I've never had that.
That'd be like us trying to really, what's it going to be pictured like to be in all eternity with Jesus?
Right.
I mean, we have ideas, but we don't know what it's going to be really like. I don't even think my imagination could stretch that great.
Yeah. So, but I do like what you just said, and praying about a future marriage or husband or relationship of how that's going to be. I have not done that, and I probably at some point in my life should.
Right. Yeah,
I should. Why not?
Why not? It's okay to pray for a husband. Yeah. If he says yes, yes, no, no. As long as we're doing what the Lord asked. I even told the Lord when I was still with Ray, I'm like, Lord, if you don't want me to get married, just tell me. Take the urges to be married away, and let me, and then tell me. But he never did. So I figured that meant I was supposed to get married, and apparently I was.
Yeah, and I was perfectly happy being single the rest of my life until you, Anna. And
my fault that the Lord told me. I just heard what the Lord said.
And so now I actually have to pray that the Lord puts that in me. Because he's shockingly enough, he has actually started doing,
yes.
I don't know what to do with all this, feelings and information. I'm still trying to wrap my head around all of it because I've been alone for so long. So, anyway,
if you're wondering, we were coming out of I was walking out of a Bible study, and I was just minding my own business, to be honest, just bebopping down to my car, and I hear the Lord go, "There's a man that needs a Joanna." I'm like, what? There's a man that needs a Joanna. I'm like, cool.
Yeah. Well, my reaction when she told me that was not the same. I did not have the same reaction.
Okay.
I actually told her to stop talking, and
yeah.
But
that's okay, because I have Pinterest, and I'm just throwing things in there for a wedding. I've got a wedding bucket list for her.
And she shares it often. And some of these, I'm just shaking my head. Some things I'm like, okay, that's cool. I really like that. Save that one. Maybe one day we'll know.
Did you get it? Did you get my invite? I did share my page. I shared that board with you.
I did not.
Okay.
Or if I did, I didn't remember. I'll look for it.
Anyway, so I have faith.
So what was the original question, Anna?
Well, the original thing was this Shulamite, she's dreaming of what's to come. She's dreaming of what her marriage is going to be like. What is it going to be like to be married and with her groom and the intimacy? She's excited about this intimacy.
Yeah. Well,
I think we have trashed intimacy. We have trashed sex.
I agree.
And now I don't know girls who are really looking forward to it. If they are looking forward to it, they're looking forward to it the wrong way.
Right.
Nobody's really, or there's too much pressure in it. I love what they're saying now. The young couples, like, look, if you've been waiting, don't feel pressured on your wedding night. Don't ruin it on your wedding night because you feel pressured. If you have to, wait a couple of days. It's okay.
If your husband loves you, that'll be fine with him.
If you love him, he's going to be okay.
Newsflash: a one-night stand or a hookup is not intimacy.
No, it's not. That's just
that's not intimacy.
No, it's not intimacy at all. I sometimes call salespeople that way. One night stand technique where they bed the client and then walk off and let everybody else take care of it.
Oh,
yeah. I've worked for a company like that. It's like, it's not how it goes. And that's not how it shouldn't be in a real relationship. It's supposed to be nurturing. It's supposed to be growing. You're supposed to be getting better. I mean, it's supposed to be getting better and better and better each day. It was never meant to be a hookup or a one night stand or having an affair where you have two people you're keeping up with. It's never meant to be that way. It's not what God's order or plan was.
No, nowhere ever does it say that.
And so we haven't been keeping the marriage bed. What's that word I'm looking for?
Pure?
Pure. Yeah, that is it. We defile the marriage bed all the time. We're supposed to be keeping it pure. Porn has not helped either. And women are now just as much into porn as men because it's available on the internet. I see it on memes all the time. When I'm on Pinterest, I see all these memes and I'm like, there's nothing sacred anymore. There's nothing sacred.
Well, when you're walking through the mall and the huge billboard on a window is a woman in her underwear.
See, I won't have anything to do with Victoria's Secret because of that. It's totally rude and inappropriate.
What about little kids who are seeing these half-naked women for the first time?
What about husbands who don't want to see it?
Right.
And I'm thankful. I've got really good men in my life, like my husband and my son. If they're in the mall and they know they're coming up to that, they all know what the stores are on the right.
Yep.
And if they're walking on the right, they all know what's on the left. Because they are not, which is the same on the right or left, but it's the same stores, but they know it and I don't want to see that. And then the people who turn around and get mad because some woman's breastfeeding. Oh, it's okay to have a girl in her undies on a wall, but it's not okay to breastfeed. You got some serious issues there.
Yeah. It's flip-flopped.
Yeah.
Your priorities.
Yeah, porn has ruined intimacy in a marriage. And if somebody was ever hooked on that before they got right with the Lord, it's still going to affect their marriage. Mm-hmm. If they had a bad sexual experience when they were younger before they got married, it's going to affect their marriage. You got to pray through that. You have got to ask the Lord to heal you and get you through it.
And He can.
He can.
We're proof of that. He absolutely can.
Absolutely can. But you have to pray through that because that is another step of relationship building. Everybody wants it easy. Just give it to me. I just want it. No. God says you got to build this relationship. I want to build a relationship with you, but we got to build it together.
Yeah.
And it takes time. And it should never end until you go home, to be honest. You're building your intimate relationship with the Lord doesn't end until He calls you home.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like a cake. You don't immediately have a cake completely done and decorated. It steps.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I wish. I mean, that'd be great because
that'd be delicious.
Yeah,
it's not how that works.
No, that's the reason I don't do cakes very often or bake very often because it's just a lot of work cleaning. Actually, the work of the cake is not bad. It's the cleaning up the bowls.
I'm no baker.
Yeah, and if you tell me I got to separate everything before I got to put it together, you're all going in one bowl.
Right.
Hope y'all work it out good.
I'm the same way.
Work it out, guys.
Yeah, I don't have a bowl for wet and a bowl for dry. No. We have one bowl. It's all going to be wet by the time it gets done. So let's just pour it in there now.
Bless my little niece's heart. She was helping me bake something. She goes, okay, yeah, you got to put the dry separate from the wet. Girl, I don't know who's been teaching you baking, but this is not how your aunt works it.
Yeah, nope. Not in this house. We don't do that in this house.
Laundry's the same way.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoy your friends in the laundry.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're sensitive. You're just going to have to work it out in there. I don't have time.
Oh, gosh. Okay, rabbit trail. What's
no,
next?
actually, it's the same because we've been talking about relationship and how you have to build it.
Yeah.
It's not real simple, easy.
No.
You know, that's why, like I said, I don't bake cakes for professionalism. Or a professional baker. I do not do laundry professionally.
You know, it takes both. It takes
it does.
both. You know,
I love what someone said. Marriage is not 50-50. Divorce is 50-50.
Yeah.
Marriage is both of you doing your job. It's 100-100.
yeah.
And then some days, you know what? Some days somebody's going to only be at 40%, so you're going to need to be at 60%.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have to help carry your partner some days because some days your spouse is not going to be ready. Now, sometimes you're going to have to pray for them and get them through it because they might be having a tough time. But at the same time, sometimes you're going to have to help carry your spouse for a little bit. And you know what? It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and he'll carry you at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're like, well, he's never done that. Well, keep praying, honey. The Lord's not done yet. Until he calls him home, the Lord's not done yet.
Right.
I always tell people, Lord's not done yet.
We're all at different stages.
Exactly. And you might be ahead, and that's okay too. Because you will reap the benefits.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
you will.
Thank you for letting us share our tools to become the women God created us to be. If we encouraged you today, visit us at moderndayabigails.com. Remember, you are loved, cherished, and prayed over.